Are you tired of taxes? Come on, I know you are. And that's why we're back with our all-time favorite show, Tired of Taxes, brought to you by the National Association of Certified Valuers and Analysts, NACVA for short. For the past 30 plus years, they've helped thousands of CPAs, accountants, finance professionals, and more establish their authority in matters of value and become today's financial super consultant. Our special guest today, who never got into the world of taxes, so she's happy to avoid that, Shelia Darby, Managing Director of Bisworth. So join me, Garrett Wagner, the entrepreneurial CPA, here on Evolve Now and break the cycle of tax time and learn why you need to stop being tired of taxes and break free of the boredom. Shelia, so happy to have you. We've been chatting for a little bit, so we've kind of got the nose of each other. We're ready to rock and roll. So let's start kind of like back at the beginning. You're not a CPA, but you're an expert in all things of value. How did you get started in the world of finance and valuation?
Great question. First of all, Garrett, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Valuation, everybody, people ask me all the time, why not just become a CPA? Well, I fell in love with finance and valuation, but accounting is critical to that. And many CPAs and accountants actually have their own practice, but myself, and I went to Baylor University undergrad and I took a ton of accounting classes, but I went on the finance route and took valuation courses, fell in love with it, worked for a Fortune 10 company in valuation, went back to B school, received my MBA from Rice University. And from there, I worked for another Fortune 10 company in their valuation department mostly, and really looking at strategic valuations. And strategic valuations, unlike fair market valuations, usually results in a higher value, very specific buyer looking at a very specific opportunity, interest. And from there in 2014, I chose to become a part of Bisworth, and Bisworth is focused on business valuations. So that's my long story in a short summary.
Yeah, so with that, clearly you have a successful career. You know, you're an expert in things of value. You mentioned before you're on the NACVA board for, I think, ethics?
I'm on the ethics oversight board for NACVA, and I'm also a local chapter president in the Houston area.
So you got a lengthy resume. We talked before as well. You're doing some expert witness testimony. The list can go on and on. You're an expert valuator. Now, here's a question for you. This is a curveball because I didn't ask you this before, but I thought about it as you were talking. I hear from a lot of accounting firm owners and partners that if someone is not a CPA, they don't really have value. How would you respond to that as someone that's not a CPA, but I feel like most people after hearing your background would feel like, no, this woman has tremendous value?
Well, first of all, I will say a shout out to all the CPAs listening and non-CPAs that do accounting. Accounting is the foundation to valuation. But where is valuation actually taught in a university? It's taught in finance. I personally have never seen valuation taught in an accounting department at a university. It's taught in finance departments, and it's also taught in entrepreneurial programs at some universities. So first of all, it is not an accounting discipline per se, but accounting is important because the foundation of valuation are the financial statements, and you need to understand the financial statements. Some CPAs may say, well, you also need to understand it to make adjustments, but they're not accounting adjustments. They're not booking adjustments. They are adjustments made for valuation purposes. So it's slightly different. But CPAs, I know a lot of CPAs that are fantastic valuation experts, and they've built wonderful practices in valuation because they either have a department focused purely on it, and they've chosen to roll up their sleeves, get credentials, because in my opinion, being a CPA alone does not qualify you to either testify or to do valuations. You need to either have a finance degree, couple that with the certification from the CVA, or be a CPA